Huh. Well, I hope it's the right orientation. I don't actually know if it is. YouTube, you need to sort this out. This shouldn't be so difficult to figure out. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, while I'm here, let me see if you can hear me. Welcome to Rethink with Rudiano. I know it's the other way around. You have to read back to front. Rethink. Now, if I go there and find out, I think it's working. I can see myself, but can I hear myself? Yeah, it is working. So, welcome to this live today about the AI divide. It's everywhere, so I'm quite sure you've heard this before. And here is a random dude just adding his 2 cents on it. The AI divide. Do we think it's gonna be a utopia that is coming with AI? Or is it going to be a dystopia? Is it going to be a dream? Or is it going to be a nightmare? Or is it going to be something in between? Well, let's have a little reflection together. I don't know what I'm going to be concluding. I've got an idea, but let's see where this reflection leads us. So, first of all, how about taking a trip down memory lane? Let's do a little bit of pattern recognition. Have a look at the history, see if we can uncover something that is going to help us figure out what's going to happen. Because really, like a wise king said, there's really nothing new under the sun. Humans are the same. Maybe the circumstances change a bit, the tools change, but at our core, we're the same. And they do say history doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes. So we don't seem to be changing a whole lot. So, what's our history with technology? What do we see more often than not? Now, depending on how old you are, some of the examples might not even register. You might not even have heard of it. But at one point there used to be an elevator operator or a lift operator. Somebody in the lift or elevator, wherever you are in the world, that would press the button for you to get to the floor you wanted to. I don't know. Did they not trust you to do it yourself? It's only pushing a button. I don't know. I think at the time, the buildings that had elevators were very posh. So you had somebody, and it was part of the whole experience. You had somebody to operate the machine for you. What happened to that role, that job? It went. Now, another example, the pump assistant or the filling assistant. If you have a car, you go to a petrol station, and you used to have somebody who actually filled your car up for you. I think in some countries they still exist, but they're definitely not very popular anymore. So again, we do that ourselves now. Okay, what about? I mean, even if you haven't lived it, I haven't. I'm not that old, but I haven't seen that play out in my life. But I know it has. Before the advent of tractors, when you had to work your field, you had a horse, or you had a mule, or you had an animal, and you had a cart. You didn't have the machinery. Then tractors were invented. And what happened to the horses? Well, the horses are just for decoration now, for fun now. They don't tend to have jobs like that anymore. So yeah, the tractor replaced them. When technology happens, it replaces people. And it keeps happening. Like, for example, in our lifetime, we've seen, for example, what comes to mind? It's not there yet, but the cashier at a supermarket, beeping your items past the scanner to scan the whole thing and give you the total of your shopping and taking your money. Well, we've got self-operating cash cash things anymore. I don't know what it's called now, but you do the whole thing yourself and you pay yourself. So a lot of supermarkets now have sometimes up to half the tills self-operating. So what do you think that does to the cashier job? There's less and less, or fewer and fewer. That's the proper English. So it does happen. When technology happens, it replaces jobs. So of course, when AI happens, it replaces job. It replaces jobs. And in fact, it's gone not the way I was expecting, to be honest. Because when automation started, with the advent of machines, and it was replacing the humans who were doing the repetitive task like a robot, and now they have a robot to do those tasks. So I was thinking, oh yeah, manual jobs are at risk. A job that a robot can do because it doesn't take cognition. It's just the same thing over and over again. And I thought, oh yeah, well, AI is going to replace that. But lo and behold, AI is actually replacing cognitive jobs, cognitive tasks. It can code, it can create a website, it can write, it can design an image, it can do things that we deem creative, artistic, cognitive. It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. I understand that. So when people say that they're against AI, I can understand why. Because hang on, I've just noticed Treasure 28 says, "Can I have some watermelon?" I ain't got watermelon. What makes you think I've got watermelon? Is it because I'm black? Ah! Anyway, I do love watermelon. I don't like melon, but I like watermelon. Go figure. So coming back to the matter at hand. So AI, yes, has replaced jobs already. But yeah, it's very difficult to know where it's actually going to go. What I know is, for example, when experts have made a prediction, very often they have been wrong. Oh, hello, Harry. Hi. It has been wrong. Say, for example, the advent of personal computers. That's a long time ago. That's before my time. But experts used to say that there was no market for it. Who would want a personal computer in their home? In fact, I think somebody said that there was about a market of, what did he say? Something like there's probably about a market of about five personal computers in the whole world. That's what he said before. I think it was it Steve Jobs or was it the other one? I don't know if it's Macintosh or if it was Microsoft that came up with the first PC. I think it was Microsoft. And lo and behold, now there's probably no home in the Western world without a computer or some sort of computer. If not a PC, maybe now a tablet, a laptop. And the expert says there's only 5 people who would want a PC. He was absolutely wrong. And sometimes experts are very articulated and they're very convincing, but they're wrong. Now, on the other hand, some people do say this is a dystopia we're heading towards. And I understand that because if you look at the pattern of how people tend to operate, men tends to operate. It's a very weird thing. When there's an advancement, like for example, if you go back to the times where all those labor-saving devices were invented. So we've got washing machine, we've got a Hoover, we've got a microwave. We've got all of these things that were supposed to make our life easier and help us to have more leisure time, work less. And in fact, I can't remember who said this, but somebody a long time ago, before my time again, probably last century, I don't know. But he was predicting that with all the technological advances that we would have uh, managed to get, we should be by now able to have a 15-hour work week or something like that. And yet, how did we manage that? We're actually working more and more and more. Why? I think that's a video, a subject for another video. But my my idea is that even though man is able to make things equal for everyone and make things better for everyone, there are other forces at work that don't really want that. Two, they don't they operate on a scarcity mindset. So very often it's like, okay, I want to gather those resources. How am I going to gather them? I'm going to take them from somebody else. I'm going to also force somebody else to work for me, to work to gather those resources for me. So I'm going to conquer that land, or I'm going to uh, find my way into the resources of somebody else and steal them or get them at a steal price so that it benefits me and not the other, because it's like we can't do something to benefit everybody at once. There always has to be a winner and a loser. You just can't stomach the idea of everybody being on the same pedestal but everybody being at a good level of life. It just doesn't seem to work like that. Maybe it's something to do with capitalism, maybe it's something to do with something else, maybe it's a combination of things. But very often, say for example, you've got a resource, all resources of the earth. So you've got the air, you've got water, you've got land. In fact, that makes me think of the Lorax, the film The Lorax, where the villain managed to commodify air and was selling bottle of air. Now it sounds absurd, but I'm quite sure that if they could have done that, somebody would have come up with that, because we've done that with everything else. Water is being recycled free with a mechanism, the water cycle on Earth. What do? We put it into bottles and we sell it. And if we don't sell it in bottles, you get it from your tap, you still have to pay for that privilege. Okay, fair enough. There's the infrastructure that has to be maintained, so fair enough. Land, you have to buy land to construct on it. Who from? Who's originated the land? Who's built the land? It's no human. Have we paid the originator of the land? No. We just took something for free, made it payable, you know, and then managed to get money from that and build wealth on free resources. That's the history of mankind. That's what we do. So it's no wonder that, there's a gap of inequality. Those who have been fortunate enough to come from a nobility, a noble family that inherited from who knows who, what, a piece of land, then they build something on it, and then they sell it, and then they make money, or they use the resources, they drill the oil, they they sell it to other people who don't have oil or any other resources. They got it for free, but they slap a bill on it, and then you have to pay for it if you want to use it. It's not even theirs, but there you go. And even worse than that is when, for example, in Africa, Africa is full of resources, but Africans don't really benefit from these resources that much. I need to research it, but from what I can gather from history, there's always been a colonizer from Europe or from elsewhere that has planted somebody in Africa so that they can get the resources at a cheap price or none at all. So my point is that when there's new technology coming up, man is still the same. He wants to exploit people using the technology so that his life is better at the expense of somebody else. They don't really have the idea of, right, let us really think of a way to benefit everyone. And yet, in my mind, it doesn't make sense that you do not do that. Like, for example, let's play it out. Let's say that we're heading towards AI dystopia because we've got those powerful technocrats, those powerful people at the head of the companies um, that are responsible for AI and generative artificial intelligence, maybe super intelligence, maybe whatever they call it, that is able to replace humans. But companies need money. So imagine that all of those people have been replaced by AI. Who's gonna pay for this company's product? Because the people replaced by AI now don't have a job. Now find their purchasing power completely, wiped out from them, taken away from them. Where are they gonna find the money to pay for your product? So there needs to be a conversation regarding that. And it's very weird because you hear a lot of people like Elon Musk and Sam Altman cautioning against AI and saying that we need to have a discussion regarding the dangers of AI. But I'm sorry, but you are the ones actually pushing for AI. You're in that race. So it's a bit weird. It's really a bit weird. It's a little bit like somebody saying, "Oh yeah, we really have to make sure that we don't use, I don't know. It's not a very good example, but that's one that comes to mind. We have to make sure we don't use those knives to kill people, and then at the same time manufacturing the knife so that it looks like a sword or something. Like, why don't you try and manufacture it in a way that is maybe safer? I don't know. It's not a very good example. But at the same time, AI is a tool, so it depends what you do with it. But it's a very murky world that is coming. It's a bit weird. So what do we do then? Well, I say try and future proof yourself just in case. Because coming back to those jobs that went and that were replaced by, oh, I forgot this one. Actually, there's in the town that I live at, there's still pictures of what town was like in the 1900s or 1800s, and there's a picture of the high street in the town center, and it hasn't changed much except that instead of cars you had horses everywhere, and obviously with horses you had poo on either sides of the road. So it was a foul smelling experience to go through the high street. But yeah, when the car arrived, well, it replaced the horses. So the horses weren't replaced just in the farms. Also, there was this new mode of transport. So coming back to the jobs that have been replaced. So the horse was replaced by a car or by a tractor in the farm. Uh, the elevator man, the operator, was replaced by just us. We just do it ourselves. And same with the cashier, the pump attendant. We kind of do most of it ourselves. But do you know what didn't? I mean, let's put it that way. Yes, it's true. The job was gone, but it was replaced by something else. Like for example, when the tractor came, well, you had somebody to operate the tractor, new job. You also had somebody to manufacture the tractor, fix the tractor, all new jobs. So I'm thinking with AI, yes, okay, it's going to replace some people, but something that might not get replaced very soon is somebody who can actually use AI, somebody that understands AI. And I don't know how long it's going to happen, but somebody who can recognize when something is fake by AI or not. I think that's going to be a pretty good skill if we can have it for a long time, for some time, because AI is getting better and better. I mean, I've realized I'm getting a lot of adverts with AI. Can you confidently tell AI from not AI? At the minute, depending on who is behind, I've seen a lot of adverts on YouTube and I'm like, that's AI. I saw Jeremy Clarkson peddling some scam. I was like, that's not him. It was, yeah, in his work. You could tell, even without listening to what he was saying, you could tell that he didn't look himself. That is not. That is not Jeremy Clarkson, the real one. And I had somebody else that I didn't actually know. First of all, I was thinking, why do you have to dress like that? It was a very good looking girl in an advert, and she keeps coming back. And I'm like, why do you have to dress like that to promote some kind of tech? And I was like, what? And she was dressing really provocatively. And I was like, what? Then one day I looked at it again. I was like, hmm, you look AI to me actually. Something doesn't add up. The way that she was, I think she was a little bit too tight. I can't explain. It was like there was a discrepancy between her body language and her face. It wasn't quite right. But I didn't notice that straight away. I must have seen the adverts three, four, five times until I realized, hang on a minute, something's wrong. So I think that's a skill. If you expose yourself to it, you understand it. I don't know for how long, but something that is not going to go out of style is somebody who can work AI, understand it, use it, or tell it. Tell when it's AI or not. How about that? But it all comes by shaking your fear of AI. If you have such one, just expose yourself to it, experiment, research, have a look at it. Because it seems that it's here to stay. Now, again, it's very difficult to predict. It could be a bubble because I've noticed there's a lot of companies that slap the AI label on everything. And you ask yourself, it actually is AI what they're peddling. It might not be, but everything with AI slapped on it seems to be the way forward now. So they slap it on, expecting that it's going to sell like hotcakes. Maybe it does. I don't know. It must be working. Otherwise, they wouldn't all be jumping on that same bandwagon. But it's very interesting. So I'd say, just in case, future proof yourself. Is it going to be a dystopia, a utopia, a nightmare, a dream, somewhere in between? My take is if we see how things have been playing out before, it's gonna be a mitigated picture. Some people are gonna benefit, some people won't. But most likely the ones who will not benefit and who will be really hard done by are the ones who are not trying to adapt. It's adapt or die. It seems like it. Now on the flip side, if it is actually a utopia and there is actually enough people thinking ahead and thinking, listen a minute, we cannot continue to hold all this power and all this money because then it's going to be a really difficult way to live. It's going to be even more secluded. It's going to be like the people with the most power will have to go away somewhere so that they feel safe because the vast majority would be probably against them because they see how much they've been exploited. So they're gonna have to exile themselves on an island somewhere and hope that nobody finds them or something. So it would be in their best interest to, even though they might still want to make the most out of the opportunity and come out on top, but not so much on top that everybody else is destitute. Find a way, work with governments, work with the powers that be so that everybody can benefit somehow. But yeah, of course, there's a lot of discussion to be had. There's a lot of psychology and a lot of thinking that has to happen for this to be turned around. So yeah, this is my takes for now. It's gonna evolve because this AI thing is moving at breakneck speed. Breakneck speed. It's difficult to keep up. But I'm gonna end on a nice note, on a positive note. Something I'm really pleased about is how video is getting better. Uh, you might have noticed, you might have not, but my my idea, my goal, my dream would be to be able to do everything that I'm thinking of without having to hire a team. So come up with a music video, do it myself. I'd love that. In fact, last year I said the day that I'm going to be able to be my own man everywhere. So like doing my songs by myself, record them, do the music video, do my books, write my books, publish my books, and do everything by myself or with a very tight team, game changer. Especially the music video with AI, phew, game changer. And it looks like it's now possible. It's now possible. So I'm gonna dip my toe in it to see what happens. I have experimented with a few apps, but the last one that is all the rage right now, is it VO? It's called VO3 or something. I need to check that out and see what happens. But yeah, I encourage you to do the same. Experiment, have a look. Don't put your head in the sand because just because we don't want to see it doesn't mean it's not there. And I tell you what, the ostrich thing. When you've got your head in the sand, the rest of your body is up for the taking of for all sorts of things. You don't want to be like that. You don't want to put yourself in that situation. So walk in it with your eyes open and stay aware of your environment, of your surrounding. And maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to come out on top or reasonably well out of this shift, this paradigm shift that is happening right now. So that's it. I'm going to end it there. Thank you for joining, and I see you next time. So reflect, redefine, rise. Ciao.